Hello folks, this is Monica Stanera, and this has been one of those days when I just feel like I need a drink. And I don't get many of those. I actually very rarely even drink. And so I'm going to invite you to have a drink with me, unless you have trouble with alcohol and you shouldn't be drinking. And so I'll tell you what I drink. My favorite drink is Irish cream. And when I go to a party, the only thing I drink is scotch. Not whiskey made from corn, but scotch from the old country made from barley, because that's the only kind of drink that doesn't give me a hangover. So I can handle scotch and I can handle Irish cream. And so let me tell you what happened today. And so first of all, I am not a morning person. I sometimes, I will wake up at 7 in the morning, 7:38, whatever. But my husband and kids, they have the instructions that they cannot wake me up before 8:30. So if I haven't woken up on my own until 8:30, they cannot wake me up. So my husband comes and wakes me up this morning at 8:30 in the morning, and he tells me that there's no water pressure. And he says, like, did you remember to pay the water bill this month? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I usually pay the water bill really early in the month, and the cutoff date, even if I had forgotten to pay the water, the cutoff date is not around this time of the month. And so I said, I'm pretty sure, but I'll check if you want me to check. And so I get up and he shows me there's no water pressure in the kitchen faucet. And so the first thing I do, because I know how to narrow down these problems, is I just go to the bathroom, to my bathroom, and open up the faucet there, and the water pressure is perfectly fine. And so then I ask him to do the same in his bathroom, and he opens the water there, and everything's fine. So I have narrowed it down to it's just the kitchen, the problem's in the kitchen. And so I go to the kitchen sink and I open the cabinet doors, the first thing, to check, make sure nothing is wet and everything's completely dry. But now it could also be that there's a pipe that has broken somewhere, feeding the lines that go to the kitchen sink. And so we have a water filter that is fed by the cold water line. So I open up the faucet on the water filter, and that's as usual, same pressure as usual. So I know the pipes that carry the cold water are okay. And then the dishwasher is connected to the hot water line. And so I check the dishwasher, and the dishwasher is working perfectly fine. So now I have narrowed it down to the sink, right? And so I've determined it's the faucet, and there's pretty much three things that can go wrong with the faucet. And so, but it's not easy for me to do this, to go through all these steps to narrow down problems. If you have read my latest book, Room by Room, Feng Shui Secrets for a Happy Life, it will not surprise you. You'll not be surprised when I tell you that most of my adult life I have had to deal with some level of anxiety. And so when I'm confronted with problems, my instinct is to completely freak out, to go berserk. And so what I do is I have developed certain methods to calm myself and to confront problems as a reasonable person and not as a berserk, out of control person. And so the thing I do is, after I have narrowed it down this way, when the things that I can do immediately that determine that it's not in this case, in the example that I'm sharing, that is not a pipe that has burst, because in that case I would have to run and cut the water from the main, and then we wouldn't have any water in the house. And so I narrow it down to make sure anything that is urgent or emergent is not happening, that so I make sure that I am going to take care of anything that needs to be taken care of. I'm going to plug my phone here so it doesn't die on me. There you go. And so I do that. And then I think, after I narrow down the problem, I think, okay, what is the worst possible outcome? So in this case, I look at the kitchen sink and the faucet. So the worst possible outcome, since I have ruled out broken pipes, is that the faucet needs to be replaced. And the kind of faucet we have, it's a nice one, probably be couple of $100, and the plumber work might be about an hour, maybe 2 of work, no more. And so worst case scenario, we have to replace the kitchen faucet, right? And then I ask myself, can we handle that? And the answer is absolutely yes, we can handle that, because we keep an emergency fund for home repairs, just for home repairs, and then we have emergency funds for other things. But just for home repairs, so most things that are a few $100s or several $100s, they can just be taken care of with the emergency fund, no problem. But the truth is, it's probably not the whole faucet is the problem. It's probably just a piece, a smaller piece that needs to be changed or cleaned, and then we have to pay for the labor. So we absolutely can handle that, and it's no problem. There's no reason to freak out, right? And so, cheers. What surprised me, about the whole event in the morning, also, it was a super busy day. I had to leave because I had a meeting with a client that I had to do at 11. And then I had a meeting with a group that I meet every first Thursday of the month in a different part of town. I had to be there for that. So it was a very busy day for me. I could not stay here in the morning and help figure out what was going on with the kitchen sink. And so my son, my youngest son, who's handyman, he's really good with things. He's just turned 13. And he already has his own toolbox and everything. So when his reaction to finding out that something is not working is excitement. It's not like freaking out, it's excitement. And he goes and gets his tools. He gets his flashlight, he gets his tools, and helps me figure out what's going on. And I look at him this morning and I think, I want to be more like that. I want to be more like him. I want to look at problems as opportunities for learning, as opportunities for growth, as opportunities for doing something fun. And so, we determined, my husband called the contractor. He was able to tell the contractor, these are the things that we have ruled out. And so then I'm driving, doing my activities, serving my clients, getting to my meetings. And then when I come home, there's a package that has been returned. So my son, who is 13, used to be crazy about Nate the Great, and I had gotten him the whole complete collection, all the books that were published by that author, in that series, Nate the Great, at some point. But of course, he's outgrown them, so he wanted to sell them. And I had helped him sell the books, and we had packaged them together, and we shipped them, and the books got returned. And so then I see him, because he usually reacts so well to any problems that have to do with fixing things. But then I saw that he got a little blue, that he got a little sad. And so I asked him, are you worried that we're going to have to return the money for the books, or they're not going to want them anymore? And he says, yes, a little bit, Dad. But mostly I'm sad about those children that the mom bought the books for, who may not get them for Christmas. What if she wanted to give them the gift for Christmas? And so I thought that was really sweet, but and so the package had been returned because of an issue with the mail. And then so I showed my son, and I brought it up in the computer, because I thought to myself, this is my opportunity to share with him how he can transfer the super healthy quality he has when he faces physical problems to any kind of problem in life. And so I showed him, I went to the PayPal account where the payment was done. I went to the tracking for the shipment to try and figure out what went wrong, where it went wrong, why the package was returned. And so then I told him, now think about this as the mechanics of the mailing system. So we need to figure out the mechanics of the mailing system so we can figure out what is the reason that this package was returned. And then we need to talk to the woman who bought them. And so again, you think worst case scenario, the mom says, oh, these books are not going to be here for Christmas. I don't want them anymore. I want you to return my money. So worst case scenario, I have to return her money. And so he doesn't get that money for the toy he wanted to get for himself. He had to wait a little longer to get the toy he wanted to get for himself for Christmas. Because that's one thing we do in our family. We give each other gifts, but we also get something for ourselves. Each of us gets something for ourselves. And so I tell him, okay, the worst case scenario is that she doesn't want the books anymore, and so we have to return the money, and we have to list these books for sale again and wait until there's somebody else interested. But it's probably not going to be that. It's probably something in the mail that we're going to figure out, and then we're going to have to decide who's going to pay for the shipping the second time around and all that. And so I helped him make this transition in his mind where he learned to see this problem that had to do with shipping and the mail as a mechanical problem, so that he can learn to confront life in the same way. And so I want to share that with you. And cheers again. I love my Irish cream. But even though I saw, it was such an opportunity this morning because we homeschool our kids. So I was able to talk with them about the scientific method, about coming up with hypotheses, and about narrowing down things and a process of elimination and things like that. So that was super interesting to do with the children in the midst of the internal anxiety I felt at knowing there was a problem in the kitchen. And at the same time, in the afternoon, when this thing happened with the books that my son had sold, it gave me the opportunity to teach them something new. And so that was pretty cool. Now, not everything is good, but good can come from all. I'm a firm believer in that. Good can come from all. And so, how do you handle problems? Many times people, when you have a problem, you feel like your whole life is crumbling. And that's when I like to look at, in Feng Shui, we talk about the 9 life areas, and sometimes we put them like in a tic-tac-toe with 9 squares or 9 rectangles. Sometimes we put it in an octagon, which is similar to a circle. So I want you to look this is the coaster that was holding my drink just a minute ago. And so I want you to think of this coaster as if it was a table. If I just have if my table only has one leg in the middle, that's going to be a very wobbly, unstable table. So like a lot of my clients, especially women, they make their love relationship, their relationship with a man, the center of their life. And so if that goes wrong, then their whole life crumbles. But in Feng Shui, we visualize like it's a table. In the 9 steps to Feng Shui, right? We visualize a table that has 8 legs on the outside and 1 thicker leg in the middle. And so the 9 life areas, 8 of those go on the perimeter of the circle of this imaginary table. It could be an octagon too. So you have the 8 legs. So even if something really bad happens in one area of your life, there's still the other 7 legs that are going to hold you and the leg in the middle. And that leg in the middle is gratitude. And so keeping an attitude of gratitude is going to help you get through any problem. But also remembering that whatever problem you have, whatever news that you have gotten, that you feel like your life is crumbling, is not all of your life. It's just a part of your life. It's just one aspect of your life. Cheers again. And so that is very important to remember. And so now maybe it's the Irish cream. I forgot what I was going to tell you next. But in any case, I want you to start, when you see problems, when you confront problems in your life, I want you to start thinking about your problems as opportunities to learn something, opportunities to grow, and opportunities to sort of even play a game of solving your problem. Now, Feng Shui can come in really, really handy here, because Feng Shui helps you be more focused, be more balanced, live in harmony. There's a lot of things that Feng Shui does for you through your home. And so I'm going to be putting, when I'm done recording with this video, I'm going to be putting a link in the comments so you can check out my services, my long distance Feng Shui consultation services. I offer a program that is called the Feng Shui Immersion Program, which is done by subscription, and you work with me month to month. So we can take all the time we need to look at the Feng Shui of your home, see what needs to be corrected. I only give you one thing to do at a time, so there's never overwhelm for you, because there's only one thing to do. Before we move on to the next task, you show me the pictures of what you have done so that I can see that everything is done right, so there is no room for error. And you advance at your own space. And the 9 steps to Feng Shui system is done with synergy. So every single thing that you do in your home is going to help you free up the resources, the time, and the energy to do anything that comes next, so that you can live a life that is balanced, that is harmonious, and so that you don't get to crumble when you face problems. That's what I want to share with you today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.